Alright, let's get this in. I mean, holiday passed by, got into the transitionals. We still thinking about whether we want to put all three together or not. Fairly long, but I mean, we fit a 3 hour show and a first time ever show. That went out at 2.5, I guess, closer to that. We did a bunch of that. We did a bunch of that, and thinking about how we're gonna do the cast. I want to keep them together, but at the same time, I'm not really feeling the. I think right now we need to figure out what Raw and Netflix is doing so far as those times each week. You know, like small overrun on Monday. SmackDown at 3 hours is enough. You know what I'm saying? But then to mix that all with NXT, like right now, and Raw didn't even have like the regular Raw feel. It was a giant NXT takeover. So yeah, we'll stick with NXT for right now. We're not gonna call it standalone. But Raw on Netflix, excuse me, for the first time ever was definitely a standalone esque event. So I mean, yeah, we'll have Raw next week anyway. But nah. Now NXT happened, man. Let's go ahead and get into it. New Year's Evil, alright, it was solid. It was cool. It was cool. I had fun watching. I enjoyed, all the matches and the way they got the stories moving, or kept them moving. So it is what it is. A little more predictable so far as like how the championships is going to run. In my opinion, I don't like the obvious themes. Like, okay, we're transitioning now, so it's like, alright. But I guess maybe it's just a smart fan that pays attention to it. I don't even try to watch or listen as a fan anymore. Gravy on commentary now. Oh man, you run back to the old days where him and King Booker had a little bit of the tensions behind the desk. What I noticed now is they both have Vic Joseph. Booker T and Vic have been really meshing well throughout the months. And then if I'm looking at, oh my gosh, but if I'm looking at Corey and Vic, then that makes sense too. So, excuse me. The things you see when you, from my vantage point, but we ain't gonna get into it. Either way, I'm enjoying the idea of all three of them meshing well. It is very catty back there, and it's hard to listen to. But if they can, all right, my end goal for this one is to make sure that everybody is super happy to be around each other, and the catty tensions gotta stop. They gotta stop. Like, call your matches and do what you do. You know what I'm saying? But it's just not the. I see the wave. I see the offensive stylings. I see the defensive stylings. In my opinion, those stances don't need to be taken because we all here, us United Front. And it's a new time. Like back then, it was a different time. Now, I can hear Corey's experience on the main roster talking. I remember his first show on SmackDown. You know what I'm saying? I remember I can hear his experience. Of course, he had the experience on NXT, whatever, but I hear his spots. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, Vic and Book, they just kind of, like, they keep it in the match, they keep it in the show, but the fun that they have, it can potentially veer away. And before it happens, this is where Gravy steps in. So I'm glad it was a good decision. I know we're not really super ecstatic about it, but I am. So there you go. I think it'll be a really fun mix once Corey loosened up. You know what I mean? Corey could calm down some because, it's like, look, it's NXT, but let it shit. And King Booker, I mean, look, his energy is kind of what brings a lot of the source to NXT right now so far as what's going on. Everybody's going to have their opinions on the internet, but, 1-2 punch, Corey's a knockout. That's how I'm feeling. Now, let's get into it for real. Julia, Roxy, alright. False finishes, a bunch of title changes, all of the obvious stuff. Okay, it's a new era, start of the year, not bad. Everybody become a new champion though, like, I would have been fine. Excuse me. I would have been just fine with Roxy continuing her streak as women's champion. But let her get it back. Let her get it back, and we start this whole thing again. That's my opinion. I don't, maybe I'm a little fickle to it. Not fickle, but I'm a little biased. You know what I'm saying? But I liked Roxy's era. It could have been a little bit longer to really make sure everyone knows, like, nah, she is definitely one of those. Like, I feel like back in the day, Oscar would have got it. Shouts to Connor. Now let's move on. Beautiful manage. All right, Julia's solid. She's solid. We're gonna see, like, they both can take hits. Julia's gonna have to keep up with everyone else coming up now. That's why they throw in there with somebody she's used to, is Stephanie Vacker or Vaquer or whatever. I find fatal four-way where her Cora, Lola, and Kalani. All right, it was all right. They kept up. Best women's division in the whole industry. The argument is arguable. I didn't think to look around recently, but then I started looking around, and can't really argue when it comes to the characters developed, the stories that can be told, the stories that are already being told. They turned down a little bit on the love bit, on that extra relationship, like, and it's still annoying, like always had. Last week with Nikita Lyons, and I thought she was a player, and then dipping off like, oh, nobody knew that was coming. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a nice little character that we can delve into. Stephanie, like, Stephanie Vacker, she's a good spot as far as her and Julia getting in there and being acclimated with each other. They'll be able to make the match, make sense, and look like something. So we just have to wait around for who's going to take her on after that. I wasn't, like, watching it in the moment, I wasn't excited about those two being, like, Stephanie should not have been the first opponent, but then it's like, nah, we're going to need something that's going to make this make sense and make it work. Fine. Let's see who we get after that. That's what I'm interested in. I'm not going to take away from Stephanie Vaquer, but we also have other championships for the women now, so, just perspective broadening. All right, Shotzi, Gigi, Tatum, and then Fatal Influence. Excuse me. Man. Oh, ever sneezing is bad. Excuse me. Good stuff. They all look good. They all like. Give them a name. Give them a name. Maybe wait another month and then give them a name. Is that what we're doing? I'm not mad at the idea, so give them a name. If we doing this so stable faction 3-woman thing, it's another one. They could fit, and then they're thematic. Like, they make sense. Like, they're within that same realm. Like, you go in that drawer or that compartment, you'll find those three, even though they're not exactly the same. So I like it. Fatal Influence is definitely still on the up. I seen an idea that creative was putting out there so far as those three. It's fleeting for me right now, but let's get that back and try it again, and let's see if we got something else, because I'm sure once I see it, it'll re-spark how I was feeling about it. But then with the added extra now, we'll be able to really find more direction for, and then, what? More commentary. What was Jasmine niggas gonna be without King Booker right now? No gas to King Booker, no gas to him. I'm saying, she would have just been little cutesy baddie, good job, she in the ring. That's cool. But then it's like, nah, there's something that can be created now, because she's not just Jasmine, she's the NYX. What does that even mean? We don't know. But this is like why they're good together right now, because they all have like characters they're developing. Fallon comes first. What happened to that? There's none of that right now. She had a whole crew, but same time, we've seen her continue to develop on forms of that character also. It hasn't stopped. JC, oh, she's a rock star. Like, look, King Booker's building all of them. Where's Corey at in that? I'm not saying he has been doing it. He's clearly just got there, but this is the idea. You know what I mean? Like, we're building we're using the creative a little different with each character in the ring. So that's what I'm saying. Like, get Tatum and them a name now, since they want to be around each other. Like let's get them a name. Let's make it a thing for them. Now, let's move on. Lexis King, Charlie Dempsey, Heritage Cup, clean, sudden death match, fine. I ain't mad at it. NQCC, they solid, man. They got strength on their side. Whole match was good. One small missed opportunity. I feel like Bryn could have did the long leg thing with the fishnets. I'm just saying, like the one long leg thing, like really keep that thematic. Like I'm speaking the true to character form. I'm not saying it needed that, but I'm just saying, you know, small missed opportunity. Let's move on. All right, overfilling Trick Williams, Eddie Thorpe, NXT Championship. Oh God, and man, we all supposed to boo Eddie Thorpe. So we could just, well, I boo that man. Boo. Oh, he got beat up. He was faking it again. That boy was trying to cry wolf. I mean, Abe wasn't even trying to hear it. I ain't mad at it either. Like, oh no, but then we get backstage. Great. You know, like, oh no, he actually did get beat up by Oba because, you know. So it's like, okay, well, let's see if he comes back with a vengeance throughout the match or not. Maybe he's out of it fully. He did. He came back out. He's ready to get the chip popping. All the craziness happened. Look, Oba got the championship. We're proud of him. It's not too often I see those gray shirts come in through the process, especially back when I was really checking for it. But we would have the new recruits come in, and I could see the gray shirts, and it's like, you know, him, maybe one day. Him, maybe one day. Nah, like I said, run it back. If I'm looking at him and Simone, which I think were in the same class, and I'd have to look again, I would almost call out a third one, but I don't want to get too crazy with these three-point shots. But if they were in the same class, I remember looking at them like, okay, of all of these heads, he looks like he might go somewhere. Him. I don't know because it's so many people. And The Rock definitely got into that later on in the main event segment. But yeah, but now he's NXT champion. Good. Went backstage, got all the love from every direction, from HBK to the producers, the Coach Bloom, of course, respectfully. Was Coach Sarah there? I think I seen her. I can't remember quite. But yeah, man, like it's very good. Very good, and congratulations to him and Julia, the little celebration, men-women thing. That's awesome representation and just that idea to balance. So very good. I'm not mad at it. Now, first time ever. I have no choice but to speak on it. I mean, we all would. Well, everybody wanted to. It's been such a long journey and a long time coming, and we've all asked for it, but The Rock and his daughter having a backstage vignette, having a backstage promo segment together is something that any of us that once we all learned, oh shoot, The Rock has a baby now? What's her name? I'm not even talking about the baby. I'm talking about when he was with his wife, you know, back then, you know, who turned into his best friend and business partner, all that shit, you know, back in them days, you know? It was, oh, they had a baby? Wow, The Rock got a baby? Wow, that's crazy. Wow, you think she's going to be a wrestler one day? Hell yeah, she'll be electrifying just like that, man. And this is me and my folk back in the cafeteria a long time ago in school. This is me and my folk, you know what I mean, walking back home from school and talking about SmackDown, not back with SmackDown last night, but yeah, talking about SmackDown last night. Or going to school, like, yeah, you got daughter now, oh, blah, 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 Scorpion King, all that stuff, you know, back in the days. So we all knew eventually she would find her way. And she did. And they were able to create a little segment and make it fun. And it felt very, you know, paternal. It felt like one of those dreams come true for her. You know, it was definitely history. And we're all just very proud of the both of them. On my side especially, I'm proud for the both of them to be able to say now, yeah, I had a promo with my daughter. You know, and we killed it. You know, The Rock was being The Rock. You know, he put his daughter over. Obviously, the rub was going to be there. There was, you know, clear times. Sometimes it happens with daddy-daughter. You know, it's a little bit of tension, but clearly it felt, as far as on screen, it looked like that's been plenty under the bridge. It's already been gone. I was mad because he never came through the NXT, and it's like, yo, bro, your daughter is the GM of NXT, bro. What are you doing? Like, I don't care how busy you is, you need to find some time. Get your ass to Orlando. Now, Orlando is a little much, I understand, but, you know, we're all just very happy that he was able to make his way to an NXT event. It was a really large one, and then, in retrospect, if I'm thinking about it, Orlando would have hit, but would it have hit just as hard? It would have hit because of the home vibe, but to be in LA on a really, really big week, it makes perfect sense, man. So we all happy that it was a thing. So shouts to my man, The Rock. He had no idea what he was going to say when he was going out there. I know the feeling. I feel like that right now. Look, DJ got out there, man. He gonna say what he wanna say. He the final boss. And so far as NXT goes, Simone is the final boss. So I feel like those was his bullet points. And you know, we just gotta see how she doing the thing now moving forward. Like, I know she gonna be able to keep up with it, but now it's like not even trying to be The Rock or The Rock's daughter. It's being, Ava, General Manager Ava Raine. So now how is she gonna develop that character? And that's what we're working with. But she's doing this a fine job. Like, she's being a professional, and I know that there are others that have been in like heightened or up positions and had a little bit of the attitude. So it's like, all right, well, you could learn how to navigate a few personalities a little bit better, because we can clearly tell that you're not extra, what's the word? You're not extra versed in certain characters within your space and context, and I'm not even talking about Ave, I'm talking about just in general. The biggest test for Ave recently had to be this Eddie Thorpe situation. She done took a random bump backstage, inadvertent, like all sorts of shit, so now with a growing division and everyone knowing they could go to her, like, let's get a little more confidence in the tone. That's all I got for it. That's the only thing I would give. Now, she's the final boss of NXT. Perfect. Rock went out there. He realized why we all wanted him to go to NXT. We all realized it. He realized it. The humility that, was clearly showing off for him. And then it's like you could follow it. The crowd screaming NXT when it's like, nah, see, we told you. We're all of that consciousness. You know what I'm saying? We all know. Like, The Rock didn't know because he ain't been there to feel it, but now he understands. Like, and that's why I say the Performance Center in retrospect wouldn't have been enough, because they all would have loved you. We all would have blew the roof off because it's home. But no. Come where we can all congregate and celebrate the fact that you're here with your daughter right now. You know what I'm saying? And that part really spoke volumes. I enjoyed it a lot. And then it's like, I did all of this and did all of that and met the people with Netflix and all of that. Thank you, Netflix, and we're gonna have a great time and all of that. But an NXT experience is, different. So Raw on Netflix, it may be where you have to be, but NXT is where you want to be. I think it can be argued that we have to be on NXT at this point. But that's real super in-depth to that promo. If I'm really, really building upon that, and then we getting up out of here, I only got a couple minutes anyway. See, run it down on the clock. I got to do this just the same way Rock was running that time. There was a time when Raw was coming on, my nigga, tonight was the night. No question. Like, and that was in the dark time. It was a certain energy that was cultivated just off the strength that we knew Raw was happening later. Just because SmackDown coming on. But then, Monday Night Raw is an institution. So, no, let's get it popping. We are ready. And that killer, that gutter, that real nigga mode, all of that energy is prevalent. So we about to watch this shit and have a great time enjoying it. And we in that gutter bag. We come here to feed that energy. That was Monday Night Raw. Black and Gold NXT had that feeling. We had to feel that feeling for Raw, and we were conditioned to learn to love that feeling because it was cultivated from NXT. You see? So all of the things happened. January 6th last year happened, and in retrospect, still a superpower move of high respect and high regard in my space. But then we got Netflix a year later, you know what I mean? So after all of the trauma and all of the tension and all of the feelings that came from knowing what came from that feeling that we were investing into Monday nights, of 3 hours constantly, and just being let down, tuning back in out of habit and hope and the rest of it, and hoping that it would be more. And it's like, no, because we got the energy, it's on deck. All of that stuff had to happen. And it was like, no, because we technically already know what you're going to do with it. And it's not your fault. You're going to make it your fault. We didn't want no more of that. So right now, to rebuild that, to re-trigger loving that feeling again of the gutter, visceral, I'll go as far as to say sadistic side of, yeah, bitch, Raws on the night. Honestly, we're going to have to go where black and gold was at. And even though it's not the black and gold era NXT anymore, we're clearly in some kind of 4.5 era. I don't even know anymore. Like with CW, what was that? 4.0, 4.0? We're going to call it 4.0. So in the NXT 4.0 era on the CW, we've got to cultivate that energy there. And then the Raw's on Netflix, the energy has cleared. Like, you felt it on Monday, it's obviously going to be a thing. So it's not about where we have to be or where we want to be. It's about what the fuck we feel like doing right now. And right now, I feel like getting up out of here because that's my time. Holla at me.